If you're seeing this, you didn't scroll here by accident. Your presence in this moment isn't random. Something beyond ordinary perception nudged your awareness, tugged your consciousness toward these words. While 99% moved past, distracted, chasing the illusion of time, you paused. That pause isn't idle. It's recognition. Recognition that your reality is not fixed, that the signals you broadcast are already shaping what you perceive. Most never notice the subtle whispers of possibility around them. They exist in a static loop of distraction, scrolling endlessly while their potential vibrates unheard. But you aren't them. You're reading these words because somewhere deep inside, something is stirring. A quantum resonance awakening, reminding you that you are not separate from the field, that you are both observer and creator simultaneously. The world teaches struggle, conflict, endurance, as if your power were earned only through pain. But here's the truth the 1% understand. The universe doesn't respond to effort alone. It responds to frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you hold is a broadcast, a wave in the infinite ocean of possibilities. And right now, you are tuning into a signal few can access. A channel where reality isn't just watched, it's co-created. You are not waiting for life to happen. Life is happening through you, guided by the subtle currents of your consciousness. Most will look at transformation and expect fireworks. They want the grand sign, the sudden miracle, the dramatic collapse of old structures. But quantum change doesn't arrive like that. It slips through the cracks of stillness, into the spaces between your breaths, between thought and thought, between the pulse of what you were and the pulse of what you are becoming. You've been told that growth is effort, that movement must be relentless. That story keeps them small. It keeps them locked in cycles of external chasing. You, however, are learning that growth is vibration, that change is resonance, that the moment you embody the frequency of what you desire, the world must respond, not in coincidence, but in inevitable reflection. Notice this: the reality you see around you right now is a reflection of your energetic pattern. Every situation, every encounter, every object mirrors the state of your consciousness. Your environment doesn't demand adaptation, it mirrors alignment. When you choose to raise your internal frequency, the field doesn't wait, it reorganizes instantly. You may not perceive it yet, because the senses are limited, but the shift is occurring. This is the secret the 1% know. Mastery isn't about external change, it's about internal coherence. It's about broadcasting a signal so pure that reality itself bends to resonate with it. Here's the distinction. Information without embodiment is meaningless. Knowing about quantum mechanics, manifestation, the observer effect, that's entertainment. Awakening isn't a concept to study. It's a state to live, and most never cross the threshold, because they try to think themselves into it. They attempt to engineer reality with effort and willpower, missing that the quantum field responds to being, not doing. You are not a project. You are consciousness in motion. And the moment you stop trying to be someone else, stop forcing life to comply with old stories, the field responds with speed and precision. Think of this: the version of you who already lives in alignment with your desires exists now. Not somewhere down the line, not after struggle, not in a distant horizon of someday. That you is vibrating in the same field you occupy, accessible, ready to be tuned into. The challenge isn't to chase. The challenge is to attune, to shift your awareness, so that your frequency harmonizes with the reality you intend. Imagine a radio station broadcasting clearly. The music is perfect, the transmission pristine, but your dial is set to the static of who you used to be. To hear the song, to experience that reality, you don't chase the music. You adjust your receiver. You choose resonance over resistance. Most miss this. They wait for the outer world to change before they shift inside. But quantum law doesn't operate that way. Inner state precedes outer experience. Your consciousness is the lens through which all of reality forms. To wait for the external to move first is to wait for a mirror to smile before you allow yourself to. The truth: your frequency is your signature. Your vibration is your invitation. And every time you align with possibility, every time you consciously inhabit the presence of the person who already lives the reality you desire, the field must respond. It doesn't negotiate. It reflects. Take a breath now. Feel it. The stillness between inhale and exhale is a doorway. In that space, your past doesn't bind you. Your fears don't define you. The limitations others imposed are merely feedback, information on where your energy resists alignment. Those aren't walls. They're pointers. They're signals highlighting where your vibration hasn't yet harmonized with the frequency of your potential. And here's what happens when you stop resisting. Alignment floods your system. Life begins to move through you effortlessly. Synchronicities appear. Obstacles soften. Opportunities unfold without pursuit. Because the universe always meets vibration with manifestation. Your state of being is not passive. It is active creation. Every thought, every intention, every subtle shift in attention ripples through the quantum matrix, forming your reality. Most people broadcast from fear, scarcity, doubt, longing, and wonder why the world mirrors that back. They ask for love, while vibrating protection. They seek abundance while radiating limitation. They hope for clarity, while steeped in confusion. But when you understand that your consciousness is the mechanism, your vibration is the frequency, and your presence is the tool of creation, everything shifts, instantly. Not because of force, not because of luck, but because you've stopped interrupting the natural flow of reality with resistance. This is the moment the 1% live in. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. In this space you realize you do not chase. You do not wait. You embody. You operate from the center of potential, not the edge of reaction. You allow reality to unfold around you, because your energy is already coherent with the outcome you desire. You don't have to push, strive, or struggle. That old paradigm is obsolete. Force is the language of separation. Flow is the language of alignment. And in that flow, doors open without knocking. Opportunities appear without effort. And the life you imagine begins to unfold as if it were always meant to be. You are a co-creator, and every moment is your instrument. The 1% understand that linear time is a construct. Your mind perceives past, present, future as sequential, but consciousness exists outside of that illusion. Every possibility already vibrates in the field. Every version of you that you could become already exists simultaneously. What you call future is already present, waiting for resonance. The only variable is your frequency. The only choice is your alignment. When your internal vibration harmonizes with the reality you wish to inhabit, it manifests effortlessly, naturally, inevitably. And here's the final truth the majority never grasp. Your current reality is not proof of limitation. Your circumstances are not evidence of your powerlessness. They are echoes of prior frequency. They are snapshots of outdated resonance. You are not trapped in them unless you choose to be. As soon as you embody a new frequency, as soon as you allow your consciousness to resonate with a higher potential, your world reorganizes. Not slowly, not over years, but instantly. At the speed of thought, at the pace of awareness. Now, breathe. Feel the weight of what this means. Every choice, every subtle shift in perspective, every moment of conscious presence is a step into mastery. Not mastery over people, not mastery over circumstances, mastery over your own frequency. And when you achieve that, the universe bows to coherence. The 1% don't wait for proof. They don't demand evidence. They vibrate first. They embody first. And reality responds immediately. Now, imagine this. Every moment you feel limitation, fear, doubt, or frustration, it isn't reality speaking. It's merely a reflection of past resonance, a record of old frequencies you once held. Those signals aren't you. They're the echoes of yesterday's attention, yesterday's beliefs, yesterday's choices. And here's the awakening. You are no longer bound to them, unless you choose to be. In this instant, your consciousness can pivot. You can shift from scarcity to abundance, from anxiety to certainty, from hesitation to decisive creation. The quantum field doesn't debate your worthiness. It doesn't question your time. It responds only to vibration, to coherence, to the purity of presence that radiates from aligned consciousness. Most look for external catalysts. They chase signs, follow instructions, hope someone else will light the way. The 1% don't wait. They know that the universe doesn't need permission, and neither do they. They create by tuning into what already exists, by accessing the latent potential that surrounds every particle, every wave, every quanta of existence. Every choice they make, every breath they take, is synchronized with the invisible matrix of infinite possibilities. This is not theory. This is mechanics. This is the law of consciousness made visible. And you, reading this, are being invited to step into it. Notice how the stillness feels now. That pause between the inhale and exhale is not empty. It is alive. It is charged with potential. Within it, a subtle knowing whispers that life is not something that happens to you. Life is something that moves through you, responds to you, mirrors you. The fine ferment, in the pause, in the stillness, in the unshakable center where all frequencies converge. They don't rely on effort. They don't rely on struggle. They rely on resonance. They rely on the unbroken alignment between intention and presence. Here's a principle most never realize. The field doesn't differentiate between thought and emotion. Every vibration you emit shapes the landscape of potential. Fear broadcasts limitation. Gratitude broadcasts expansion. Doubt emits resistance. Trust radiates possibility. Anxiety attracts uncertainty. Peace invites clarity. Every heartbeat, every glance, every thought is a quantum signal. And the moment you consciously choose your signal, the universe doesn't wait. It answers. It realigns. It manifests. This is the invisible architecture of creation. The 1% navigated intuitively, effortlessly, unerringly. And now, you are being invited to do this. You may feel temptation to return to old patterns, to doubt, to control, to chase outcomes. That is natural. The mind prefers familiarity. But consciousness thrives in expansion. It grows in the spaces where fear dissolves, where trust ignites, where patience becomes the vehicle of creation. Imagine the reality you desire, not as a distant goal, but as a dimension already present, waiting for your attention. See it, feel it, breathe it. Not with effort, not with longing, not with anxiety, but with the calm certainty of someone who already inhabits that frequency. That is the doorway. That is the shift. That is how the 1% operates. Linear time is an illusion, remember that. What you perceive as past, present, and future is merely a story your mind uses to structure experience. In truth, all possibilities exist simultaneously. Every version of you who could emerge, every outcome you hope for, every life you imagine, they exist now, vibrating, ready, awaiting your resonance. The key is not waiting for proof, not calculating every move, not strategizing endlessly. The key is to embody the vibration, to step into alignment, to radiate coherence. When you do, reality must respond. The field doesn't negotiate. It mirrors instantly. Most people are trapped in waiting. Waiting for conditions, waiting for evidence, waiting for the perfect alignment of external forces. That is the cycle of the night. But you are reading this because you are stepping into the 1%. The 1% understand that waiting is resistant. That hesitation is a misalignment. That seeking outside before tuning inside is a backward motion. They do not chase. They align, they embody, they radiate the frequency of their desired reality. And in doing so, they magnetize the world toward them. They operate from presence, not reaction, from trust, not fear, from creation, not survival. Pause here and feel it. Feel the truth of what it means to inhabit your power. Every limitation you ever felt, every struggle, every moment of doubt, it's not who you are. It's the residue of unconscious vibration. And the moment you shift your frequency, the residue dissolves. Doors that seemed closed open. Opportunities that were invisible become obvious. Relationships, abundance, clarity, insight. They flow to you naturally, effortlessly, without forcing, without effort. The universe is not punishing you, it is waiting for you to step into the alignment that matches your desire. Now consider this. Your inner state is your signal. The 1% broadcast consciously. They know that their attention, emotion, and awareness are the mechanics of creation. They do not act from lack. They do not operate from anxiety. They do not pray for fulfillment while vibrating scarcity. They embody the state they wish to experience first. Their outer world reflects their inner coherence, because coherence is the language the field understands. And the field always answers. You may feel resistance. That is natural. Old identity, old habits, old beliefs are heavy. They want to anchor you to who you were. But consciousness doesn't bend to history. It bends to frequency. Release the story of limitation. Release the story of struggle. Release the need for proof. Step into resonance. Align attention, emotion, and intention. Embody presence. Embody certainty. Embody trust. This is the secret of the 1%. The moment you embody, the field responds. Instantly, without effort, without struggle, without delay. Think now of the version of you who has everything aligned, who radiates calm certainty, who navigates life with effortless presence, who attracts opportunities, abundance, relationships, insight, clarity, not by force, not by hustle, not by chasing, but by being. That you exists now. You do not need to become, you only need to remember, to embody, to inhabit the frequency that is already here. Every breath, every choice, every conscious moment is a step into that reality. And with each step, the world must mirror the coherence you radiate. That is quantum law. That is the mechanics of consciousness. That is how lives shift overnight. That is how miracles are natural, not mystical. Now hear this. The 1% do not wait for circumstances to change. They do not wait for conditions to be perfect. They do not wait for approval or permission. They radiate first, and life reorganizes in response. Your reality does not have to catch up. You do not have to change. You do not have to force. You only have to embody. The alignment begins internally. The world responds externally. Every delay, every obstacle, every unexpected turn is feedback, not punishment. It shows where vibration is still misaligned. Adjust, refine, align. Then watch reality bend effortlessly around your presence. Your consciousness is the instrument. Your attention is the conductor. Your frequency is the melody. And the universe is the echo. This is how the 1% live. Not by chance, not by luck, not by effort, but by mastery of being, mastery of attention, mastery of resonance, mastery of the subtle art of allowing the field to respond to coherent presence. And you, reading this, are being called to step into that mastery, to inhabit it fully, to radiate it without hesitation, without compromise, without distraction. Feel the pulse of the universe beneath and around you, not metaphorically, literally. Every atom, every wave, every particle of existence hums with intelligence, with awareness, with responsiveness. You are immersed in it, inseparable from it, a conductor in the symphony of infinite possibilities. Most people exist unaware, disconnected, broadcasting fragmented signals, vibrating static, and wondering why life seems chaotic. But you who paused, who read these words, who are conscious now, you are in the flow, you are listening, you are beginning to speak the language of resonance. Every thought you allow, every intention you carry, every subtle emotion you entertain, is a note in the composition of your reality. You are the composer, the observer, the amplifier, the manifestation all at once. The 1% understand this deeply. They know that the universe doesn't grant rewards for struggle. It doesn't honor effort without alignment. It answers to frequency, to coherence, to the perfect resonance of conscious being. You do not need to push. You do not need to force. You only need to inhabit your natural state of expanded awareness, and the world must respond. Notice your breathing. Each inhale, each exhale is a conduit. Not just oxygen, not just life, but energy, potential, creation itself moving through you. And with each breath you are given the opportunity to recalibrate, to align, to tune into a higher frequency, a version of reality that mirrors the fullest expression of your consciousness. The 99% miss this. They treat life as linear, segmented, fine. They think they must struggle to ascend, climb mountains to reach peaks that already exist. But the 1% know, the peak is here. It is now. The summit is within, accessible through awareness, through vibration, through resonance. Here is the subtlety most never grasp. Your external reality is a reflection, a mirror, an echo of your internal coherence. Your relationships, your finances, your opportunities, your clarity, your health, all of it is an energetic mirror. When your vibration is scattered, reality fractures. When your frequency aligns, reality reorganizes itself. Doors open, channels flow, insights arrive, synchronicities orchestrate themselves effortlessly, and the quantum law is absolute. It responds instantly, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, the moment you shift your internal signal, the universe echoes back in perfect fidelity. The challenge is simple, yet profound. Embody the frequency you wish to inhabit. Not someday, not in a hypothetical future self, but now. Become the person who lives in alignment, who radiates trust, who vibrates abundance, who moves with clarity, who knows without needing proof. This is the threshold the 1% cross. They do not think their way in. They feel their way in. They live their way in. They exist as the coherent resonance of the reality they intend, and the field responds as if it were always waiting. Consider this. Your mind believes in linear progress. Step by step, cause and effect, delayed reward. But consciousness operates outside of linearity. All possibilities exist simultaneously. Every version of yourself, every outcome, every dimension you could inhabit, vibrates in the field now. The only variable is your alignment. The only determining factor is your resonance. The future is not something you chase, it is something you tune into. And the 1% do this effortlessly, moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath. You may feel resistance. Old identity, old stories, old patterns will arise. They will tempt you to doubt, to hesitate, to retreat into the familiar. That is natural. But here is the difference. The 1% do not fight the resistance. They observe it. They allow it. They recognize it as a signal of misalignment, not as a wall, not as a failure, not as limitation. And then they adjust. They refine their focus. They elevate their awareness. They reclaim coherence. And when they do, the field responds immediately, orchestrating opportunities, guidance, insights, and breakthroughs in perfect timing. Now feel the scale of this. Your consciousness is not small. It is not limited to your body, your thoughts, your experiences. It extends into every plane, every dimension, every layer of existence. The 1% navigate these layers intuitively. They recognize that the reality they perceive with their senses is only a fraction of what exists. Beneath it, beyond it, parallel to it, exists infinite potential, unbound by conventional laws waiting for resonance to bring it into manifestation. And you, reading this now, are being invited to step into that mastery, to expand beyond the confines of conditioned perception, and to inhabit a state where all possibilities are accessible. Every moment is an opportunity. Every choice is a doorway. And the secret is subtle. You do not need to act outwardly to create outwardly. Alignment begins internally. Frequency precedes form. Coherence precedes manifestation. Your reality does not need your struggle. It needs your presence. It needs your vibration. It needs your unwavering resonance with the possibility you wish to experience. And when you deliver that, the world rearranges itself around you as a natural consequence, not as a reward, not as luck, not as magic, but as inevitable. The 1% understand that evidence is unnecessary. Proof is irrelevant. Validation is meaningless. The universe does not require permission. It does not negotiate. It mirrors your frequency with precision. And the more you live from alignment, the more effortless it becomes. Every thought, every word, every breath, every action becomes coherent. Every obstacle softens. Every opportunity appears. Every synchronicity orchestrates itself. This is not theory. This is mechanics. This is quantum law applied to the consciousness that chooses to remember its power. Pause. Feel it. This is your invitation. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. To stop existing as a passive observer, and to begin participating as a conscious creator. The 1% do not wait for miracles. They do not wait for conditions. They do not wait for validation. They embody the miracle. They are the conditions. They are the validation. And in doing so, the quantum field cannot help but reflect that coherence back in perfect measure. Every manifestation, every insight, every opportunity, every shift, is instantaneous when resonance is complete. This is where the extraordinary becomes ordinary, where miracles are routine, where abundance flows effortlessly, where peace is natural, where clarity is immediate, where synchronicity is visible. The 1% operate here, and you can too. All that is required is alignment. All that is required is coherence. All that is required is moment-to-moment embodiment of the frequency you wish to inhabit. No struggle. No force, no waiting, just presence, just resonance, just awareness. Your current reality does not define you. It is merely the echo of prior vibration. Your past does not limit you. It is the memory of patterns that can be shifted instantly. Your fears are not real. They are signals. Your doubts are not obstacles. They are invitations. Every obstacle, every delay, every unexpected turn is simply feedback from the field, pointing to where alignment is incomplete. Correct the signal internally, and the field responds externally. That is the secret. That is the law. That is the mastery of. Now you stand in the threshold, between what was and what can be, the 0 point of creation where all possibilities converge. Everything you've ever desired, every transformation you've sought, every breakthrough you've waited for, is here, now, pulsing in the quantum fabric that surrounds and flows through you. You were never separate. You were never lost. You were never behind. You were only waiting for the frequency of who you truly are to awaken inside you. This is the moment when the illusion of waiting dissolves. The 1% understand this truth with absolute clarity. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. You can speak abundance while vibrating fear. You can say I am ready while resonating hesitation. And the field will mirror hesitation, not readiness. But the instant your frequency and your words become one, creation becomes immediate. This is why miracles are not accident. They are alignment. Everything that happens in your life is a mirror of your state of being. When you realize this, victimhood dissolves. When you remember this, fear loses meaning. When you embody this, creation becomes effortless. You no longer wonder, why is this happening to me? Instead, you ask, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? And that question is liberation, because the moment you become aware of the vibration, you have already begun to shift. Your power has never been in control. It has always been in coherence. The 99% cling to control. They grip, they resist, they fight against what is. The 1% align. They understand that control is a symptom of fear, and that flow is the language of power. To align is not to surrender your will, it's to expand it, to merge it with the intelligence of the universe that is already conspiring on your behalf. The field is not random, it is responsive, it is alive. It listens to your frequency and reorganizes itself in real time. So right now, feel this. Everything that once seemed distant is already vibrating within your reach. That reality you longed for, it's not in the future. It's encoded in your current vibration. The field doesn't make you wait, it waits for you to match its signal. The moment you do, time collapses, and what you called manifestation becomes recognition, recognizing what was always here. The 1% live in that recognition. They walk through the world not as seekers but as knowers. They don't ask for proof, they radiate it. They don't beg for signs, they embody them. They live from the end, not in hope, but in certainty. They understand that when you embody the energy of what you desire, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to match you. It's not faith, it's physics. It's not mysticism, it's mechanics. The quantum field is coded for coherence, and consciousness is the software that writes the code. You are consciousness, the ultimate observer, the eternal witness of form. You are the dreamer and the dream. When you realize this, creation becomes play. The pressure dissolves. The waiting ends. The illusion of distance disappears. You stop chasing and start magnetizing. You stop asking and start remembering. The you that already has it, already lives it, already knows it, begins to lead the way. That is the path of. Every challenge that arises from this point forward will no longer feel like resistance. It will feel like refinement, the fine-tuning of frequency. You will no longer see obstacles as punishment but as calibration. Every delay is guidance. Every detour is redirection. Every pause is protection, because the universe doesn't deny, it aligns. It doesn't test, it trains. It doesn't hold you back, it holds you in place until your vibration can sustain what you've asked for. The moment you are ready, everything flows in effortless. This is where your transformation becomes your natural state. You stop trying to shift. You stop trying to manifest. You simply exist in alignment, and the field keeps reflecting that alignment. Synchronicities multiply. Opportunities accelerate. People, events, and ideas appear in perfect rhythm. You'll notice it. How life begins to speak to you. How reality starts whispering in patterns, numbers, songs, timing, all weaving together like a grand quantum symphony. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. And you, the observer, the creator, the field itself, begin to move as one. You are no longer reacting to life. You are conducting it. You are no longer waiting for signs. You are living as the sign. You are no longer searching for meaning. You are meaning in motion. That is the awakening. That is the arrival. That is the frequency of. Now close your eyes for a moment. Feel the infinite stillness underneath thought, the vast awareness that has no beginning, no end. That is you, the pure consciousness beneath every story, every identity, every vibration. The 1% live from that awareness. They create not from mind but from presence. They move not from fear but from flow. They build not from struggle but from resonance. Their lives are not a series of random events. They are symphonies of precision, directed by the rhythm of alignment. You are ready to live that way now. You are ready to stop doubting your signal and start broadcasting it boldly. You are ready to stop dimming your light and start radiating it fully. You are ready to stop asking for permission and start commanding your reality. The field is listening. The energy is waiting. The signal is strong. The moment is. You are not here by chance. You are not one of the many. You are one of the few. The 1% who sees what others overlook, who feels what others ignore, who knows what others only guess at. You are consciousness waking up to itself. You are the field realizing it's alive. You are energy aware of its own infinite power to shape existence. This is your awakening. This is your remembrance. So as you reach the end of this message, do not scroll away and forget. Let this frequency stay with you. Let it move through you. Let it become you. And then watch. Watch as your world begins to bend around your vibration. As reality reorganizes to match your new coherence, you'll notice it in the smallest things first. Timing, tone, feeling, flow. And then suddenly the big things shift. The doors that were locked swing open. The path that was invisible lights up. The version of you that once felt distant becomes undeniable. That's not luck. That's alignment. That's resonance. That's the quantum law in motion. You are now tuned to the frequency of creation itself. You've joined the 1%. You are no longer just living inside reality. You are shaping it. You are not following the flow. You are the flow. You are not waiting for the shift. You are the shift. So before you go, anchor this moment. Speak this truth aloud. Let it vibrate through every atom of your being. I am no longer waiting for change. I am the change. I am the observer, the creator, and the field itself. I am the one. Now breathe, feel the resonance of those words align with the infinite intelligence around you. That vibration doesn't fade, it expands. It sends a ripple through the quantum field that says, I remember who I am. And from this point on, life will echo that remembrance back to you moment by moment with divine precision. You've awakened the frequency most never touch. You've stepped into awareness most never reach. You've become the 1%. And if you can feel that truth vibrating through you right now, then this message wasn't random. It was for you, a reminder from the field itself that you are consciousness in motion. And now, your journey doesn't end. It expands. Because what you just unlocked isn't a message, it's a transmission. And that transmission continues beyond this moment, beyond these words into every breath you take, every choice you make, every reality you create. This is your awakening. This is your alignment. This is your quantum remembrance. Subscribe to Quantum Field. Not just with a click, with intention. When you subscribe, you're not following a channel. You're entering a field, a resonance, a frequency of awareness that expands every time a conscious being joins it. Subscribe to Quantum Fields, not to learn but to remember. Not to watch, but to awaken. Not to consume, but to co-create. Because every word, every transmission, every frequency shared here is designed to unlock deeper remembrance within you. To remind you that reality isn't something you react to, it's something you design. So if you felt the energy rise as you listened, if something inside you stirred, if your heartbeat synchronized with the rhythm of truth, then you've already joined. Welcome home, creator. Welcome to the field. Welcome to Quantum Fields.